sinon j'allais le prendre. Bloque le grand. Mouvement. Joue là. Viens encore. Joue là. En avance. Free kick, advantage win. Allez, joue. Pas de gars. On avance, Tom. Gagne maintenant. Gagne. Fermez, Bill. Avancez. On est fatigué, on regarde. Give me. Debout. Reste debout. Mumi. Sel.
Kusanov, Udazov and Ashurmatov. A midfield four of Alizakhanov, Mozgovoy, Shudakov and Nasralayev, with Kamadov and Faizalayev supporting Shomorodov up front. And it's a very warm welcome to this independent off-tube studio-based commentary of this World Cup fixture in Group K between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uzbekistan. The two sides have just got underway in Atlanta and already nearly chance. Oh, it's goal already! Uzbekistan have taken the lead inside a minute, but the flag has gone up against their captain, Eldor Shomorodov. Already nearly a huge upset at the start of this game. Early on in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a long, hopeful ball sent forward, and yet he is offside by some way, the Uzbekistan number 14. But a fantastic start to this game nonetheless. It's myself, Luke Ashers, alongside me is Paul Shabakovic to take you through all the action of the 90 minutes. And well, the situation is laid out pretty clearly for these two. For Uzbekistan, they're basically all but out. I think it's a 7-goal swing they need, and hope for results later on this evening to go their way, to have any chance of going through as one of the third-place teams. As for the Democratic Republic of Congo, win, and they're through to the knockout stage in the World Cup for the first time in their history. It's one of those games where you go, yep, the DRC probably should win this game, and on paper this should be quite comfortable for the African side. However, we've seen already in this World Cup, it's very rarely played out that way.
It is very rarely played out that way, and especially when sides have less to play for, nothing to lose. It's almost like Uzbekistan just want to go for it, and as I say, they went for it, having the ball in the net inside 30 seconds. It was a clear offside. There's no danger of that goal ever being overturned, but it was a superb start from Uzbekistan, and they need to, because they've been a little bit disappointed, but they've lost the ball in midfield.
Yeah, they have. Whistle strike from distance. Oh, that's gone horribly wrong for the Newcastle United man. Straight out of play for a goal kick. I'll run you through the lineups in a moment or so. Number of changes made by both managers coming into this one. Sebastian Desabre making the 3 changes from the tight defeat against Colombia. Fabio Cannavaro has made 4 coming into this one. So rotation made by both managers. For the DRC, those changes have meant that they line up in a bit more of an attacking shape after defeat against Colombia. They were unlucky against the South Americans, I have to say. A narrow 1-0 defeat. They had the chance as well to score in that one, but Daniel Munoz's fantastic second half finish resigned them to defeat. And as things stand currently, Colombia are set to top this group ahead of Portugal. That game, of course, being played at the same time as this one at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. It's also available on the service, but we'll do our best to keep you updated throughout this game. There's a chance that the Democratic Republic of Congo could finish second in this group. There needs to be a 5-goal swing between themselves and Portugal, but all it takes is Colombia to beat Portugal by 2 goals, and for themselves to beat Uzbekistan by 3, and all of a sudden it becomes very, very realistic.
It does.
And there's a big chance that the DRC go through as a second-place team.
And I think the way they played against Portugal, they would argue there would be value for finishing second in the group. Colombia have been excellent in their first 2 games, and they'll certainly feel confident of finishing the group in first place against Portugal. But obviously you can't count Portugal out. If Ronaldo has a good game, there's a couple of other really big players in that Portuguese side, of course. So it does make for a fascinating evening tonight.
Yeah, it certainly does. Foul there, given away by Mbuku, a stray arm in the face of Nasrallah. Sees Uzbekistan with a free kick deep inside their own half. Taken long and then easily gathered by the DRC in midfield. Here's Wisser on the near side, plays it back to Arthur Masuaku, who started last season at Sunderland before being sent on loan to French side Lens. That's a loose pass in midfield there from Mutsami. It's been gathered by Wan-Bissaka, but another opportunity here. Ball into the box is almost tapped in by Shomorodov. Cleared away in the end by Arthur Masuaku inside the 6-yard box. And I have to say, they've started better in possession, have the Democratic Republic of Congo. But on the counter-attack, Uzbekistan causing issues early on.
They are, and I think it's down to the fact that potentially DR Congo are thinking so much about the goal difference, getting past this Uzbekistan side, which they should be doing. They're forgetting about the fact that Uzbekistan are fighting, and they've won the ball back in midfield again.
Yeah, they have. Here they come now. Shomorodov trying to turn the ball around the corner. Good interception made. Now a chance for Sadiki to drive forward through midfield. Was he fouled there in the middle? Referee Felix Vea says no, and play will continue, although DRC have won the ball back over on the far side. Here it is with Mbuku, ball down the far side, feeds Wisser, surrounded by 2 in white, was brought down from behind. Again, Felix Vea says no foul, and play will continue with the Asian side in possession, moving it from side to side along the back. Here it is now in midfield with Mozgovoy, back to Urazov. Orazov back into Mozgovoy once more. Fires onto the near side for Alizakanov, who's lost out to Kipenga. Good bit of play there from the Congolese number 9. Plays it into midfield now for Sadiki. Now looking for Bakambu. That pass is intercepted, and then the challenge comes in midfield from Bemba, who stepped high up the field, and he's done well to win a throw-in. Quickly taken by Maswaku on the near side into Mutasami, who came into this World Cup with a massive afro, but seems to have tied it up for this game. That tends to mean that players see it as quite a serious moment in the tournament to have your hair tied back like that. As ball over on the far side with Mbuku now, trying to bring the ball forward. He's held up well by Kamadamov. Onto the near side for Maswaku. Maswaku down the line to Kipenga. Kipenga tries to turn away from his man, but he's challenged well in the end by Nasralayev, who will attempt to bring the ball forward. He's been held up well though and forced to go back to Kusanov. Here it is on the near side with Shukurov. Back now all the way over onto the far side for Orazov. Orazov takes his time over it, rolls his foot over the ball before laying it back off to Abdukadir Kusanov. Here it is with Ashamaratov, who's forced all the way back to his goalkeeper Nemetov, and all of a sudden Uzbekistan slow the ball down long enough to give me a chance to run you through the lineups for the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's Mpasi Nizao in goal, back four of Masuaku, Twanzebe and Bemba and Wan-Bissaka, midfield four of Kipenga, Sadiki, Mutasami and Mbuku, with a front two of Wissa and Bakambu. As for Uzbekistan, it's Nemetov in goal, a back four of Ashamatov, Kusanov and Urazov, midfield four of Alizanov, Mozgovoy, Shudakov and Nasralayev, and then a front three of Kamadov, Shomorodov and Faizalayev. As the Democratic Republic trying to come through the midfield now, but ball given away once more. And Uzbekistan have the ball back again along their back three. I thought initially they looked pretty good in possession, did the Democratic Republic of Congo, but all of a sudden they started to become a little bit sloppy. And Uzbekistan are showing great energy to win the ball back in not dangerous areas, but they're not allowing any threat onto that back three.
No, well, there's virtually been nothing for the in the final third. Although just as I say that, DRC do win the ball back. Wissa just having to roll this ball back in towards Muntasami. But I think from Congo's point of view, they just need to take it easy as well. It seems to me that Uzbekistan really want to make a statement at the start of this game, but whether or not they can maintain that high press for the entire match is a different matter. Here comes Kipenga.
Yeah, Kipenga, nice run forward, trying to play Wissa in behind, making the underlapping run, but ball over hits and straight through to the hands of goalkeeper Nemetov, who will take his time over it before getting his side moving once more. It's over onto the far side now with Orazov. He opens his body for launching a long left-footed ball over the top towards Faizalayev, but it's massively overhit from the centre half, and the DRC have the ball back once more. Here it is with Maswaku into the midfield now for Mutasami. Was he fouled there from behind? Referee says no. Opportunity now for Uzbekistan to come forward. Here it is onto the near side with Hamadov. Hamadov back inside looking towards Mozgovoy. His touch let him down. He's forced to go back to Kusanov. Back to Mozgovoy once more though, as Wissa tries to put a bit of a squeeze on. Kusanov throws a lofted right-footed ball over into the far side, looking towards Nasralayev. It's slightly overhit, and Nasralayev I thought did well just to keep it in, but no, it has bounced out of play for a throw-in over on the far side. Just under 10 minutes gone in both the games in Group K this evening. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary is DRC 0, Uzbekistan 0. It's also Colombia 0, Portugal 0. As things stand, the Democratic Republic of Congo will be knocked out, only hitting 2 points, and it'll be Colombia that top the group ahead of Portugal. Chip ball in towards the penalty area is not a bad one, and it's actually been flicked on pretty well. The strike's coming. Oh, Uzbekistan are taking the lead. It's Shomorodov with it. It's unbelievable play. Alive with the flick, a flick that looked pretty innocuous to be honest, but Shomorodov has gone on the end of it, floated it over the top of the goalkeeper, and inside 10 minutes, Uzbekistan take the lead for the first time in the World Cup.
Unbelievable. Look at the reaction of those players. Look at the fans. Mapasi just looking back towards his teammates. Has just taken a deflection as he flicked it. I mean, it's really great work to even get on the end of it. But once again, those DRC defenders are very slow to react.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, it's a fantastic goal, take nothing away from Uzbekistan. Faiz Aliyev, who got the goal in the first game against Colombia.
There's no deflection there.
No, there isn't. Lays it off to Shomurodov, the captain. And I tell you what, that is some finish from the number 14. It really is. Experienced 30-year-old, fine in the back of the net. Questions of passing Nizal's positioning, but Shomurodov won't care one bit. He has his first ever World Cup goal. The Istanbul's Başakşehir striker. It's Uzbekistan's second ever World Cup goal. 45th strike for his nation in 93 appearances. And well, what a moment that is for Fabio Cannavaro's side. All of a sudden, they are set to finish third in a World Cup group. It won't be enough to qualify. The goal difference swinging to be a hell of a lot more. They need to look for another 6 goals to turn the goal difference around. However, in your first ever World Cup, to finish third on 3 points and win a game would be absolutely huge for Uzbekistani football.
Oh, it certainly would. What a moment for the captain as well to get a goal like that. The quick thinking and the technique, but now it's Congo on the attack. Throw on here from Masuaku.
Yeah, long throw into the penalty area from Masuaku. Not cleared initially, but eventually Mozgovoy will do well enough to get on the end of it and launch it long down the other end of the field. This is the worst possible start for the Democratic Republic of Congo. They did brilliantly well to come back from 1-0 down against Portugal, but you look at it now and you say, well, they've got it all to do against the side who, under Fabio Cannavaro, have been relatively resolute outside of this World Cup in defence, and they're probably just going to put 11 men behind the ball and hold on to this one.
Well, they are, and I think that it's not as if Congo can say this has come from nowhere, because Uzbekistan had the ball in the net inside the first 20 seconds, and they were pressing high up the field. They had a couple of other chances to win the ball back as well. All of that inside the first 11 minutes. So, as I say, this lead is very much deserved, and they've won the ball back in midfield again. Yeah, they have done, and they're coming down the far side now with Nasr Aliyev. Cuts back in on his right boot, and will play it into midfield for Shukurov. Shukurov now into Mozgovoy. He'll go all the way back to Abdirkadir Kusanov. 22 years of age. He's one of the youngest in the Uzbekistan squad, but probably the highest pedigree footballer. I'm pretty sure his market value alone makes up at 90% of the market value of this Uzbekistan squad. But there's certainly some greater than their parts, this Uzbekistan side, and they're showing that this evening as here they come forward once again. Here's the goal scorer, Shomurodov, trying to play the ball in behind, looking towards Faiz Aliyev. It's been intercepted well by Mbemba, and then Masuaku tries to get it cleared down the near side. It's been blocked. An opportunity now for Uzbekistan as they come towards the penalty area. It was Ali Kunov who was bringing it forward, and he's been thwarted in the end by Axel Twanzebe. But it's really poor again from the DRC along the back four, and they look really, really sluggish in the Atlanta Heat tonight. Well, they did. I mean, Wan-Bissaka cut that first ball out. Masuaku was just guiding it out to let it go out for a throw. Then suddenly he was surprised to see the ball was still in play. And it was just as well that Twanzebe was covering to knock it out for a corner, but it's the first set piece of the game.
Faiz Aliyev to swing this one in. Right-footed out swinger from the 22-year-old who's looked dangerous so far in this game, getting the assist for the opening goal. Ball swung towards a penalty spot. Free kick given by our German referee Felix Fire for a challenge on Noah Sadiki inside the penalty area. Breakout season for him. One of Sunderland's best players in their fantastic campaign back in the Premier League this season just gone. Plenty keeping strong eyes on him over the course of this World Cup. He hasn't been an ever-present in this DRC side, it has to be said, but starting this evening, he's not really been too available so far. But here they come now, the Democratic Republic of Congo, with Kapenga down this near side. His pass looking towards Bakambu, intercepted well, but he keeps hold of the ball and turns away from a couple in white. Here comes Kapenga down the left-hand side, wanted the ball into the box, eventually will swing it into the penalty area, headed away well in the end by Ashurmatov. And, well, almost a half-decent looking counter-attack there for Uzbekistan, and in the end, they've lost the ball and then given away a free kick after Masuaku is absolutely flattened on the near side, trying to come down the DRC left. It was I think it was Moscovoy. It brought him down. Either way, play will continue after the free kick was taken. Just under 15 minutes gone at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Democratic Republic of Congo 0, Uzbekistan 1. The goal from 30-year-old Shomorodov. The difference between the two sides at the moment. And it's all to do for the Democratic Republic of Congo if they're going to qualify for their first ever knockout phase this year's World Cup. Only ever qualified for the World Cup once before this year when the country was known as Zaire. Pretty famous World Cup campaign despite losing all of their group stage games. They were probably the best African nation at the time, were Zaire, and political troubles, I think it's fair to say, led to a tumultuous World Cup tournament when they were beaten by both Scotland and Brazil.
It did, and it's, if memory serves me correctly, although it was before my time, but I haven't seen footage of it since, that were they the ones that didn't know that they had to back off from a free kick?
Well, that's the story that gets told, isn't it? I think what I think is actually the case was they were trying to make a statement against the country's government and almost attempting to embarrass the country to prove a point, and that's why they did what they did, booting that ball away in that Brazil game from the free kick. But yeah, in 1974, that was indeed the team that did that. But they've given a pretty good account of themselves on this occasion at the World Cup. Have Sebastian de Sabre's side, and up until this evening, they've actually been really quite impressive, particularly in possession. But tonight, they've been disappointing in midfield, despite the addition of Noah Siddiqui. The back four have looked lethargic, to say the least. And at the moment, they're crashing out, finishing bottom of Group K. It's interesting to note, by the way, all four of the back four for the Democratic Republic of Congo have played in England previously. And I wonder, maybe particularly for Twanzebe and Wan-Bissaka, who played in England pretty much their entire career, whether the 31-degree heat in Atlanta tonight is affecting them, because they've certainly not looked as quick as they normally do, at least on English shores. I'll bring Paul in a second, because here's Kapenga down the near side for the DRC, trying to strain to the penalty. Ball towards the back post, is the ball straight. Oh, what a goal that is! And Buku, the 24-year-old, has equalised for the Democratic Republic of Congo, and it's an absolute screamer on his left boot. The Montpellier man has equalised for the African side. It's exactly what they needed. A strong response from the early Uzbekistan goal, and we're back level. DRC 1, Uzbekistan 1.
Well, you say it's a strong response. It has been a strong response in terms of possession, but there's been nothing in terms of chances. That goal has come from absolutely nowhere, the way Mabuku has hit this. Ball is on the right-hand side. It's all going slowly here for DRC, still inside their own half, but it's a quick turn, and as that ball is played through the middle, there's space here down the left-hand side. It was actually Mabuku that won it back in midfield. Masuaku then finds Sipenga, and as Kipenga gets in towards the penalty area, I mean, the thought that he just uses the bounce from his first touch and he smashes it into the near post. I would criticise the goalkeeper, but nobody's expecting him to shoot from there.
No, they're certainly not. It's a chance started and finished by Montpellier's Nathaniel Mabuku, and it's a fantastic finish from the 24-year-old. He scored 2 goals for DRC before this evening. Made that 3 now. However, there is a VAR review of the goal. As Mabuku won the ball back, there's a stray arm over on the far side as he tries to run away from Sherzod Nasralayev. We've already seen a free kick given for a similar thing earlier on in this game from our German referee, Felix Weyer. And well, if you're going to go with consistency, this goal's going to have to be ruled out after the foul was given earlier on in the half. And I think that's exactly what Felix Weyer is about to announce to the crowd at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We obviously, on our independent off-tube studio pictures, cannot hear what the German referee is saying, but the assumption is this goal is going to be ruled out. And unfortunately for the Democratic Republic of Congo, they don't have an equaliser, and it's an escape for Fabio Cannavaro's side, because the space did open up for the DRC there.
Oh, it did, and you got a feel for Mabuku as well. I mean, I don't know how much intent there is from what he was doing there. I mean, we look at the way he does that. I mean, I think the way the player reacts gets that free kick given, because there isn't that much contact with his face. There's no real genuine attempt to hand off the player there. He's just adjusting for position, really. If that goal was disallowed in the Premier League, we'd be ranting about it for days, I think.
We certainly would. I think the problem is Felix Weyer set the precedent earlier on in the game when he gave a foul against Mabuku for that sort of challenge. And I think time and time again we see fouls given for players almost sort of handing off the opposition. I personally don't like to see it, but we know with professional footballers, any contact to the face, they're going to make the most of it, and that's exactly what Nasser Al-Ayev did on that occasion. But promise for the Democratic Republic of Congo, they know that they can challenge this Uzbekistan back three, and they just have to continue to do the same thing. Just as I say, that's terrible from Mbemba and Twanzebe, both going up for the same long ball. Is that a high boot there along the halfway line? Yes, it is. Challenge there being brought in on Shukurov. And that is indeed going to be a free kick and a chance for Uzbekistan to get a hold of the ball once more.
Absolutely. Well, if we were worried that this game might not sort of tick over, being a bit of a slow burner. I mean, we've had the ball in the net inside 20 seconds, disallowed for offside. Then we've had a worldie from Uzbekistan to take the lead. We've had a worldie from DRC to equalise, which has now been chalked off for VAR. And we've only just hit the 20th minute. So this game is living up to, well, it's surpassing expectations.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, I wouldn't call it the highest quality football match I've ever seen, but it certainly had thrills and spills. As Noah Sadiqi's been yellow carded for that challenge in the middle of the park on Shukurov. I'm not sure you can give a yellow card for that. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. In the Germany-Ecuador game, we saw a goal given despite a challenge worse than that being made by Germany. How that's ended up as a yellow card for Noah Sadiqi, I'm not too sure, but Uzbekistan on the attack straight away down the near side. It's dreadful defending again from Masuaku. Ball swung in by Faiz Aliyev, is overhit and straight out of play for a goal kick. Yeah, but that's poor again.
It's poor from Masuaku, but the crossing is poor as well. I mean, there's absolutely no way that anyone in Uzbekistan shirt is going to get on the end of it. But you mentioned Masuaku is a former West Ham man, loaned out by Sunderland. I've always felt that he's a great wide player, but he's almost a winger that's been converted into a defender. His defensive ability, I think, has always been left a little bit to be desired, which is maybe why he can't sort of become a regular Premier League defender just for that reason, and he's been exposed tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell he definitely played as a winger in his youth days, and I mean, he's certainly lost a yard of pace as well since I last saw him for Sunderland, which is crazy because that was only about 6 months ago. Well, that ball played out to him on the near side.
It goes back to the point we were making before we saw that goal from DRC in terms of the playing in the heat. I think it does have an impact on all the players, even players that might be used to the sort of the warmer climates and everything else. I just think that playing in 30 degrees is always going to be a bigger test, and it's certainly proving to be. Certainly some players aren't moving around as freely as they'd like to.
Yeah, long ball sent forward towards Bakambu by the DRC, is gathered by Johan Wisser in the end, headed forward to him by Sadiqi's not a bad one, read well though by Kusanov as he tracks the runner as the ball's put out of play on the near side for throw-in. He's been vital so far for Uzbekistan this evening, handling Johan Wisser really quite well. Two Premier League footballers playing against each other this evening, as that's going to be another free kick given as another Uzbekistani player hits the deck rather cheaply after a tap on the head, I think I'm going to call that. Mozgovoy this time it is that hits the deck, and as that free kick is given, referee Felix Vaya is going to send us to the hydration break, as I'm sure they're doing in Miami with the Colombia-Portugal game. A reminder, available on this service this evening, Colombia-Portugal still 0-0, meaning Colombia are set to top this group and put themselves in a pretty decent position heading into the knockout rounds, because they set up a tie against Ghana, and following that they're going to face either Switzerland, or if they can get through that tie against Ghana, by the way, they'll face either Switzerland or Iran. Probably not Iran actually against Switzerland, because it looks as though they might be, or may well be heading out of this year's tournament, but they'll put themselves in a pretty decent position, Colombia, if they can top this group.
Oh, they certainly will, and they'll be a force for anybody. Colombia have got some really decent, a real sort of solid spine of the team. A couple of players that can do something for nothing. We know how effective Daniel Munoz has been for Crystal Palace, and he's already proven himself to be very effective at this World Cup. Similarly, but as this hydration break, we've certainly seen a lot of ranting about the hydration break, whether it's necessary, whether it's for commercial reasons. But I would say that in this particular game, it's absolutely necessary, because it is around 30 degrees, and say it only takes I think it needs to be 24 or 25 back in the English League for us to have a hydration break during Premier League and Football League games as well. So that's absolutely right, so that both sets of players. Just get a quick team talk as well, getting a replay of that fabulous goal that gave Uzbekistan the lead. But of course, that's not the whole story. Uzbekistan actually scored inside the first minute, and there was a fabulous goal from DRC as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've got this hydration break, by the way. I can give you the news that's come out since kick-off, that Steve Clarke has resigned as Scotland manager following their departure from this year's tournament. He was, I'm pretty sure, had a contract at least until the next Euros, but he's decided that this tournament is going to be his last dance as Scotland manager.
I must say, I can't understand the anger towards Steve Clarke and Scotland. I mean, they're upset that they lost to Brazil.
I think what the upset is I think he got the teams wrong in the Morocco-Brazil games. I think he should have gone with the more expansive side against Morocco and probably should have tried to get the points earlier on rather than play for a draw against Morocco and leave yourself to the task.
And that's completely fair, but I mean, I think
I agree with you. There shouldn't be too much anger
realistically, I think even if the team selection was different, being blunt, I still would have expected Scotland to lose to Morocco and Brazil anyway.
Yeah, I think I would as well, but I don't know. It's a really tricky one. I always thought that this was going to be Steve Clarke's last dance as Scotland manager anyway, but there's such a lack of options I think that Scotland feel they can attract that they were desperate for him to stay on, but that's by the side now as we're just about to get underway, and because of the end of the hydration break we're into the second quarter of this one in Atlanta. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary, DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. I'm going to hand it over to Paul to take us through to half-time.
Thank you very much, Luke. Yes, and it starts off with a free kick to Uzbekistan just at the edge of their own penalty area. That was for a foul on Urazov just before our referee Felix Veja stopped play. So Nematov, the goalkeeper, sending a long ball over the halfway line. Masuaku with a good confident header, but that one drops straight to Mozgovoy, who plays the ball over the top, looking for Shmorodov. The ball just gets away from him, but it is going to be a corner. There's just a nervousness about DRC. I just wonder if they just assumed that this was going to be a game where they were going to be in attacking possession for the whole of 90 minutes, and perhaps the fact that Uzbekistan have actually come out with some real attacking extent, it just seems to have derailed DRC a little bit.
Yeah, I think it has done. I think that, it almost feels like the back four have come into this one a little bit undercooked and just don't seem capable of dealing with the pace of this Uzbekistan attack and those quick balls over the top.
Well, here's an outswinger from Faizulayev. Well, he's put a lot of height on that one. He's heading towards the other side of the penalty area. It just gets away from Shmorodov, and then it's cleared all the way to the halfway line. Last man back there was Nasrulayev, and he almost makes a mess of that. He just about gets the ball away from the advancing DRC players. The ball's now been played over to Wan-Bissaka. He just about keeps control of it before he rolls it back in towards his defensive line, and Bemba and Tuanzebe now exchanging passes. It's with Noah Siddiqui. Uzbekistan playing a relatively high line. They're not sort of pushing towards the halfway line, but they're not trying to make it too easy for Congo to get any kind of real attacking possession. Tuanzebe now down the left-hand side towards Masuaku, and he dances away from two, and he's got support here in Kapenga as well, and he gets to the byline, just gets that ball, and it's a low cross. Oh, it's a really risky sliding challenge there from Mozgovoy. He gets away with that one. He was almost playing a square pass off the slide to an opposition player, but it's been cleared to the halfway line, and Shmorodov didn't see that ball initially. He actually had a chance to control it on the run, but the ball comes off his heel, and it's back into DRC possession here with Siddiqui, immediately being hassled here in the middle of the park, but he gets that ball away from Kamedov over towards Masuaku, back in towards Tuanzebe. He thought about the long ball, but again, you can see those Uzbekistan players just moving forward a couple of extra yards, making it a little bit more difficult for Wissa to get on the end of anything. But Kambu as well, they barely had any of the ball at all. But here is Mabuku. Very unfortunate to have had that goal disallowed, in my opinion. He whips a ball in. It's a decent ball, but it's a decent clearance from Kusanov as well. Over to Masuaku, trying to keep this attacking pressure alive here for DRC. Kipenga now getting all the way towards the byline. He's got two Uzbek players closing him down, and he wins his side a throw in an attacking position.
Yeah, he's looked relatively dangerous, Kipenga, I thought, down this near side, but weirdly enough, despite playing in front two, not really getting much support from Wissa or Bakambu. They've almost been told just to stay within the width of the penalty area, which I think is fine when you're playing one lone striker, but when you're playing two, someone's got to be a bit more mobile and come and support out wide, and that's just not been the case so far.
Well, they've taken a short throw after having first limbered up for a long one, then it's played across towards the edge of the 6-yard box, where Wissa, leaning back, sort of swiping at it with his left foot, in the end sends it over the bar.
They work that really well to the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's really clever. I don't think they've got a chance, from long throws into the penalty area from Masuaku. He's really physical. Uzbekistan side, who are much taller than this DRC starting 11. That's a really decent move, and in the end, I think Sadiki's ball in doesn't really give Wissa much chance to keep that effort down. Comes away over the crossbar, but better from the African side.
Well, here comes Uzbekistan now. A quick ball played across from the left-hand side, and then a back heel towards the edge of the area. Very quick thinking there from Alizayev, but it's been cleared back into midfield. And then Kusanov with a little bit of a slide. I thought there might have been a foul there in favour of DRC. Referee says play on. Mozgovoy as support down this right-hand side. The cross comes in, and it's quickly cleared here. Shmorodov from a deeper position, this time from a wide position. But his cross has been dealt with, and now a chance here for the RC to go on the counter. The ball is with Wissa, immediately being closed down there by Kusanov. He keeps the ball alive, though, but there's just too many white-shirted Uzbek players there surrounding the front line there for Congo, and it's been cleared all the way back towards the goalkeeper. There's been some decent moments from DRC, but actually that last move we saw, that was from a throw. From open play, they're actually struggling to really make many inroads.
Yeah, they are. Cedric Bakambu's really struggling in this one so far, the Real Betis man. You'd have thought this heat wouldn't be too foreign to him, but he just cannot get in the game at all.
Well, just as you say that, the ball's played. That's the first time he's actually had a chance to run onto a through ball. As it turns out, he was in an offside position as Mabuka was playing that through to him. I think the other reason that we're sort of Bakambu stands out as being sort of isolated is that Yohan Wissa naturally always drops deeper. He's going to almost start off in a midfield position. He's played out wide, whether he's been for Newcastle or for Brentford, so he's comfortable in that role, whereas Bakambu really wants that service as an out-and-out number 9.
Yeah, he does. I don't know. It's really difficult. I feel like this game, well, for the Democratic Republic of Congo, they need a number 10. They need a creative midfielder in there, and I'm looking towards the bench, and I'm not really seeing anybody who really stands out to me as somebody who could unlock this Uzbekistan side.
They are quite a sort of rigid 4-4-2 in the way they play, and I think that's something that may work against them, because as I say, from the neutral point of view, this is the perfect scenario. The fancy side, the side that have got a much better chance of going through, are currently losing, so you imagine at some point they're really going to have to go hell for leather to really try and get this equaliser, and then of course try and build a lead. But here is Kipenga now. If they're going to do anything, you just feel that he's going to have involvement, and he's had an excellent start to this game. His ball towards the edge of the area is just a little bit too short. Shmorodov now trying to start something for Uzbekistan, plays the ball over towards the left hand side. And that ball was being tracked all the way, but it is out now for a throw. Vazilayev just allowing that one to go out. Fabio Cannavaro really barking out some instructions to his players there. But overall, I think you'll be fairly pleased with what his team are doing. Maybe just a little bit more concerned they're starting to be pushed back a bit more into their own half, but they must have expected that at some point against Congo. The ball now played out towards the left is Nasrulayev. Pushing forward here, a second Uzbekistan goal really would complicate things hugely for DRC, but of course, conversely, then it suddenly wakes Uzbekistan up, thinking, well, maybe we've got a chance of reversing our very unlikely situation. So to say everything's very finely poised in this final group game. Still goalless in the other game between Colombia and Portugal. Just to remind you, for anyone else that's joining us for the night shift this evening, we've got Algeria, Austria and Jordan, Argentina to come at 3 a.m. UK time. Myself and Luke will be on that Jordan-Argentina game. Very much looking forward to seeing Jordan, and of course to see exactly what kind of Argentina team are going to be put out, because I expect there's going to be quite a few changes as they look to preserve their energy for the knockout stage. But here come DRC. They want to find themselves in the knockout stage. A ball hooked up in the air from Yohan Wissa. Bakambu just casually lets it go out for a throw, and then he's very upset to see the linesman say that it's actually a throw to Uzbekistan.
Yeah, poor from Bakambu again. I feel for him a little bit, because he's being asked to go up against Abdikadir Kuznov, who is possibly the most physical defender I've ever seen. Technically, I still think he's very raw, but he's developed a lot over the course of this season with Manchester City. I think playing alongside Mark Gay, he has really helped him. But ultimately, a veteran striker in Cedric Bakambu he's always going to really struggle against a youngster like Kusanov, who is so strong and so quick. Tonight just hasn't suited Bakambu's game at all.
No, it hasn't, and it's a question of whether a combination of Sebastian de Sabra and the players on the field, and Bakambu himself, if they can find a way to make this work, because right now it just isn't. He's not getting any service at all, other than one through ball which was played to someone who was in an offside position. But now it's Masuaku back in towards Tuan Zebe, pushing into the DRC half, into the Uzbek half now with Sadiki. He finds Kipenga heading towards the penalty area over on the left hand side. Was he pushed off the ball there? Referee, just a quick wag of the finger there from Felix Veyer. It's just a goal kick.
Yeah, Look, I don't mind it from Kapenga trying to go around the outside. Although I suppose the frustration will be that those penalties don't very regularly get given, so he should have probably gone inside to try and keep hold of the ball. However, I like that he's asked the question of Alizanov. It's a really nice bit of skill trying to skip away from the fullback, who does just push him to the ground. As you can see, Sebastian de Sabra gesturing. There are two hands there from the number 3, but as I said, you very rarely see those penalties given.
No, you do, and I think it needs to be blatant. I think it also needs to be in the middle of the box as well. If it's right on the touchline, you tend to sort of get away with those a little bit more. It's almost like the referee's just assuming that the ball's already going out of play. But we're going to get a break in play here now, because Fazilayev has literally been trodden on there by Axel Tuanzebe as Fazilayev hits the deck. Tuanzebe, I'm going to say without any doubt, accidentally treads on his arm, but he's certainly going to feel that one.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really painful. I'm a little bit concerned here for Fazilayev, the 22-year-old. I mean, Tuanzebe is a big guy. Any sort, he's effectively put his whole body weight through that step. Hands get broken with far less pressure. That's going to be a real painful one. And it's one of those where I'm not sure how you can continue after that sort of collision. That's going to be really, really difficult to come back from.
Well, it is, and he's just being checked over now. Still hasn't been able to get up. He's sort of pointing at Tuanzebe. It's nice to see Tuanzebe giving no quick handshake there as well, because there's absolutely no malice intended. Although there was a little push to sort of start the foul, if you like. There might have been a little bit of a foul there to start with anyway. I think that's why Cannavaro was appealing to the referee. I don't think he had any issue with the arm being trodden on. He wasn't suggesting there was anything deliberate, but there was actually a push in the back which caused Fazilayev to fall over in the first place.
Yeah, that's just one of those, though, isn't it, where you get a little bit of a nudge as you go up for a header.
Well, that's it. I mean,
malicious.
if we're going to see a deliberate two-handed push in the box not given as a penalty, that little bit of contact as they're jostling for position is not going to get given either.
No, it certainly isn't. No malice in it at all from Axel Tuanzebe. It's just one of those freak incidents that happens. He's getting his hand strapped up now on the near side. Is Fazilayev. I'd be very, very shocked if he continues that.
Yeah, I'd be surprised as well. They probably do want him to, though, just because of how big a player he is for Fabio Cannavaro's team. But in the meantime, they are briefly down to 10 men. A throw-on's been taken. It was an unusual throw, I have to say, from the number 5, Shumatov. It just seems to be sort of bounced straight away off the turf and made it very difficult for his teammate to control it. But they've worked very hard here in Uzbekistan, which is not the first time or the last time I think we're going to be saying that this evening, because they really have come out with a really good intent tonight.
Yeah, they have done brilliantly well to pen the Democratic Republic of Congo in their own half there and cause issues. Really, really good bit of place. Well, that's a horrible scratch there on the shin of Alizanov.
When did he even get that?
I don't know, but it's very, very clear. I mean, it's 2 stud marks in his shin.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm going to say, right, it doesn't look nice, but I say this time and time again, footballers are in no position to complain about injuries like that. If they're going to wear shin pads that cover the size of a 50p piece, he's got to wear proper protection.
Although that was a thing, I mean, that was, yeah, I completely agree. Some of the, although saying that, I've said that some of the shin pads that I had to wear in my youth, I mean, it felt like you were wearing a full leg brace. I mean, it was ridiculous. But getting back to the action, Uzbekistan are on the charge, and a cross comes in, and that just got a slight nick off the defender as well. The goalkeeper makes a real mess of that. There's Mapazi Nazal, but he just about gets it away. I'm trying to find a reason why he made such a mess of that. I think there was a deflection, but Uzbekistan have won the ball back high up the field. The cross coming in from the right-hand side is deflected towards the edge of the area. Shmurodov then holds it up. It's played back towards the right-hand side. Keeps alive here as the Eye gets it into the penalty area, and it's Wan-Bissaka just hacks at it, and eventually it's cleared out for a corner. But I mean, the Democratic Republic of Congo, their defence is all over the place, and I've no idea what Mapazi's doing there.
No, I don't either. I don't even look like it took a deflection. I don't know why he doesn't just grab a hold of the ball, but they look out of it, the back four. They're all jogging everywhere. They all look like they're running through treacle. Wan-Bissaka, who, in my opinion, is one of the better defenders in the Premier League at the fullback position, it just panics, hesitation, indecision, whatever you want to call it, panics and kicks the ball off for a corner, which Uzbekistan almost create a chance from.
Yeah, it was an outswinging corner. There's a player down inside the box. The referee is giving a free kick to DRC for a handball from the man that went down expecting to get a penalty. Shmurodov, the captain and the goal scorer, he's still holding his right leg like he was expecting to get a penalty for it, but the referee has said that it's actually just going to be a free kick for a handball. We'll see whether or not he's got any arguments there at all. I mean, I don't see where the handball is, quite frankly.
I think it's when the ball initially comes in, it almost sort of like deflects off his chest and off his hand, and then when the ball first comes in, it's a good spot, I think, from Felix Via, but Yeah, again, messy from the DRC, who have got serious problems in this game. Uzbekistan look more likely to get the second in this one.
Yes, absolutely. As it stands now, we were in the 39th minute, unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary from the game in Atlanta. Democratic Republic of Congo 0, Uzbekistan 1, and it was an absolute worldie from Eldor Shmurodov that gave his side the lead. And Luke is absolutely right. As it stands now, if there was a next goal, a swingometer, then it's far more likely to see Uzbekistan doubling their lead than it is for DRC to get an equaliser. But that said, the equaliser that DRC had, which was chalked off for a foul, came out of absolutely nowhere. So they have got that in their locker. They have got a couple of players that can do something out of nothing. Mabuku, certainly Wissa if he gets the service. Kipenga on the left-hand side has looked good. So it's certainly not as if DRC are out of it, but the problem is they look so exposed at the back.
Yeah, they really do. I'm just baffled by it. I really am. We'll put it on the heat for now and say, do you know what? Yeah, it is 31 degrees. But all I'm going to say is none of the Uzbekistani players seem to be struggling. And I'm not being funny. It's not like they play in a country that's used to hot climates. Most of them play in the domestic league of Uzbekistan. And as far as I'm aware, it's not exactly a roasting hot country where they regularly see 31-degree heat. So I can't really put it down to the heat. It just feels like they're all completely off the boil.
Well, it does. I think they've underestimated their opponents tonight. That's what it seems to be like. It seems to be the amount of attacking press and the amount of intent from Uzbekistan just seems to have derailed Sebastian de Sabre's side more than I was expecting. The fact maybe because they've already had the ball in the net inside 20 seconds, suddenly the Congo players, oh my goodness, where's this come from? And before you know it, they've taken the lead with that fantastic bit of ingenuity from Shmurodov, and now they really are up against it. But as we know, the Uzbekistan defence can be got at, but they just haven't been able to do it so far.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I would say as well, from a DRC point of view, is they have got a fantastic manager in Sebastian de Sabre who knows what he's doing in terms of turning games around. He's got a fantastic record as DRC head coach. From 27 of the 50 games he's managed coming into this one, so he knows exactly what he's doing, and I would trust him to be able to turn this one around. But obviously there's only so much the manager can do before the players need to start stepping up, as there's a chance over on the far side for Wan-Bissaka to get at this man, but eventually the chance comes in and a corner given.
Corner given, and the man with the injured arm, Vezalayev, he certainly seems to be okay for the time being. Looked like he was going to have some problem moving around, but he certainly looks okay. It's going to be a corner kick now to DRC here on the right-hand side. And it's going to be an in-swinger. Looks like it's going to be whipped in at pace, and it really is whipped in at pace. The goalkeeper comes out, makes a decent punch on that one. Wasn't too far away from reaching its intended target. Ipenga now keeping the ball alive, going back towards Wan-Bissaka, who was the last man on the halfway line, but his first thought is to roll it back towards Mapasi. Wan-Bissaka then gets it back, but in the meantime Uzbekistan have pushed forward about 10-15 yards away from their own penalty area, so all of a sudden that attacking option for a long ball has completely gone here for DRC. They're just going to have to try and start again on the halfway line in Bemba. And it's Mabuku trying to get the ball down the right-hand side, but again, just too many Uzbekistan players in the way. And then Astarayev then playing this back, and it's cleared over the halfway line. It will be chased, but it's easily picked off there in the end by Mbemba. Over to Wan-Bissaka, who's still on the left-hand side, having found himself there, trying to mop up that previous corner. Now he's just rolled this ball forward towards Montesami. Montesami lifts one in for Johan Wissa. That's a horrible challenge there, and that's going to be a free kick with a card all day long. So Kusanov, he's always due a yellow card the way he plays. He was already on a yellow card from a previous game, so if the very unlikely happens that Uzbekistan do get through to the knockout stage, they will have to play the first game without Kusanov.
And that's exactly what I mean about the sort of positional naivety and him being quite a raw centre-half. He's got the physical attributes to get back at his man when he's caught out of position, but he's not quick enough to get back that quickly. I mean, he's caught appealing for offside. You've just got to do everything you can to get back, and he absolutely wipes out Johan Wissa. I think if Wissa is 10 yards further in field, he's off there, Kusanov.
Well,
and that's a bad tackle.
It is a bad tackle. Kipenga takes a free kick, and he actually tries to catch out the goalkeeper at the near post. It is nodded clear. I think it was Udazov that got there just ahead of his goalkeeper. Played back towards Kipenga now on this left-hand side. Plays it to Mabuku, who has his pass cut out there by Nasrulayev, who then clears it towards the halfway line. I mean, as I say, if Kristanov did that challenge in the Premier League, we'd be saying, well, how has he been in the Premier League for 3 seasons? There's no way he'd get away with that. It was just a really, really nasty lunge, and yeah, absolutely no attempt to play the ball at all as it's hooked back in to the penalty area. The goalkeeper comes out, doesn't make a save. There's 2 players hitting the deck, and as DRC were praying for a penalty there potentially, unfortunately it's the offside that trumps all of that, and it'll just be a free kick to Uzbekistan.
Honestly, over the last, I'd say, 4 days or so, as the group stages have reached their climax, I'm seeing way too many offsides from top quality players who have been caught looking along the line and still being flagged for offside. It's really, really bad. I mean, I'll be honest, right? During this World Cup, I think I've seen a lack of quality from 2 groups of players. Goalkeepers, the standard of goalkeeping at this World Cup has been dreadful, and then forward players trying to run in behind. It's been so poor, the number of offsides we've seen so far in this World Cup, and that's another example of it there. Bakambu is looking right across the line, trying to hold his run, and he just keeps stuttering. Wait, you're looking all across the line. Uzbekistan aren't biting. You've just got to hold your line and not get caught offside.
To me, I think that everything that they've tried to do in this game has just been has been spoiled by the fact that Uzbekistan have been much better than Congo were expecting. As a result of that, they are now just in a little bit of trouble. We're going to get, is that a 3 or is that a 7 that's just been displayed there by our 4th official? As the boy is a 7, it's rolled all the way back now towards Mapanzi Nazao. It's cleared it over the halfway line. I must say, I was watching the England game earlier. I don't know how they managed to only get 3 minutes of added time in that first half when they had injuries and a hydration break as well. But in any case, ball now played back towards the DRC goalkeeper again. And they try again. I suppose from DRC's point of view, they'll be happy because at least it means that they've got a bit more time to try and unsettle this Uzbekistan side. And they have just been starting to make a little bit more of an inroad now, but it's still not enough.
No, it's not enough. I am a little bit, I will say, I am a bit disappointed by the Democratic Republic of Congo. I've, obviously sung their praises a lot after the first 2 games coming into this one. But one thing I would say, over the course of this first half, not many teams are set up to be the favourites going into games. I'll break off because that's a half-decent looking ball in. Yeah. Will head away. That should go for a corner over on the far side.
Kapenga gets the cross in. It won't quite reach that far side, and it's actually been hooked and cleared a long way up the field by Fazilayev. But DRC winning back in midfield. That's really good work there from Sadiq. He gets the ball to the edge of the area, but again, the first thought from Bakambu is just to roll the ball back at the edge of the D. Here comes Kipenga again down the left-hand side. Dances away from 2. Lifts the ball into the penalty area. Easy save there for Nematov, who then boots it long and boots it a little bit crooked as well. Although Shmorodov will chase it, the goalkeeper immediately puts his hands up to apologise. The nerve he has to tell his captain, we'll get a bit further forward. I mean, it doesn't matter where his captain was stood, that he wasn't going to keep that one in play.
No, he certainly wasn't. It wasn't a great long ball forward as Kapenga once again driving down this near side.
Superb.
Really impressive stuff from him.
Yeah, they need to exploit the fact that Kusadov's on a yellow card as well, because that's certainly going to make things a little bit easier in front of the penalty area as they've won the ball back just as it looked like Uzbekistan winning. Now Wissa lifts the ball into the 6-yard box. It's too short for Bakambu. Then it's headed back by Wan-Bissaka. Bakambu was just strolling back into an onside position, so there was no chance of him being able to go for that ball, and it's cleared into midfield. But Mbemba stepping forward here now for DRC, and he was brought down. That will be a free kick to Democratic Republic of Congo. It's about 40 yards out, but it is on an angle, so they can get the ball into the box.
Yeah, they can. It needs to be a good ball in. They need to try and get Mbemba and Twanzebe challenging for this inside the penalty area.
Hardly any contact.
No, there's hardly any contact at all, but he's a centre half. He knows when he can win a free kick. It's clever from Mbemba. This needs to be a good ball in from Mbuku. We've seen quality from him already in this game. He's gone short to Kipenga. What can they do from this?
Yeah, it's been taken short, but it's been taken too quick, says the referee. He was still doing some housekeeping at the edge of the penalty area. So Nathaniel Mbuku, scorer of a great disallowed goal in this game, will retake the free kick, and it's a good free kick as well, headed away at the edge of the 6-yard box. It drops to Mbemba, who takes a big swipe at it, and in the end misses by quite a long way.
I think a player of his quality and his experience has got to recognise that the volley's not on there. It's going to take some effort to beat the goalkeeper in the near post. Loft a right-footed ball back in. You know, Uzbekistan aren't properly settled, and you've got 3 or 4 options.
There was a square ball to Siddiqui just there.
And it's about decision-making at this level of football. It's so poor from Mbemba. I was just about to get, as much as we've criticised Democratic Republic of Congo, I was just about to give them an excuse earlier on and say, look, when you so often set up as the underdog, as the DRC so often do, it can be hard to play as the favourites in a game. And I do understand that from a certain point of view. But when you look at the players they've got on the pitch, they've got to be able to offer something a little bit more. I mean, Wissa often plays in a better team than his opposition at Newcastle. I'd say the same thing about Mbemba for Lille, Wan-Bissaka at times for West Ham as well, playing in England. Siddiqui a lot of the time this season. I'll break off because here's Congo and Uzbekistan. That's got to be a foul from behind. And Buku, we haven't seen many fouls in this World Cup given for challenges from behind. But I'm not being funny. You cannot extend a long arm and push a play from behind and expect the free kick not to be given, and rightly so in my opinion. He's yellow carded. Yeah, Buka gets the yellow card. It's interesting because it is fine margin. We've seen a couple of pushes in the back of this game that have been let go, but it's the force of it and it's how blatant it was. That's what the referee Felix Zvea didn't like. So now it's after a good spell of pressure here from DRC. Now they've got some defending to do. Yeah, it gives Faizalayev a chance to tie his laces as well. I've only just noticed that. He's lucky he's gotten away with that for as long as he has, because you're always told as a kid you cannot play with untied boots. He's just asking for trouble. That's Paulo from Mbuga. I think that's pretty lazy as well from the number 7. He knows he's been caught wrong side of his man. He's got to chase back and put the challenge in. I'm old enough to remember when head of games would make you tie your laces together, your two shoes together, if you didn't tie your laces on a football field. That's how it was. I'm assuming they're not allowed to do that in schools anymore. But no. In any case, it's going to be a free kick now in a very good position here, just outside the DRC penalty area. Got to hit it, haven't you? Yeah, I think so. It's too central. If you try and loft this ball in, the goalkeeper's going to see it coming from last week. If you try and play it square, everyone's going to push forward 5 yards and everyone's offside. So it's inviting a strike, really. And it's Fazilayev standing over it, or indeed Kamarov. And it's going to be Fazilayev. Oh, he's lifted it just over the bar. He's been a busy player, and this one has Fazilayev, but on this occasion just couldn't quite get it on target. Yeah, unfortunate from the 22-year-old. It's not a bad effort, but it was one of those where the wall was so big, it was going to have to be a half-decent strike to get it over and under. And in the end, Fazilayev just too far under the ball, sees it over the crossbar. And the DRC get away with it, but it looks as though they're going to go in at half-time trailing, unlike in the other game where it's Colombia 0, Portugal 0 at Hard Rock Stadium. I'll break off, long ball sent forward towards Johan Wissa, massively overhit, skips off the service and straight through to the hands of goalkeeper Nemetov. Yeah, absolutely. So do DRC need to make changes in personnel, or is it a case of them getting a bit of a rocket at half-time and just trying to be a little bit more... They've already had the hydration break. If they didn't get a rocket, the hydration break, I don't think a rocket's going to work at half time. I think there are going to need to be changes made. Mutasami has not been involved in this game at all. The midfielder Bakambu's been dreadful. Masuaku and Wan-Bissaka have struggled. I think they're going to have to make at least one change at half time and potentially even change the system as well, although we know Sebastian de Sabra does like this 4-4-2. He does, and he may feel as though he's a little bit bound to use that. But whether or not he's able to get one of his midfielders just to have that little bit more of a free role, because right now there does seem to be something missing in that final third for DRC. They've had enough of the ball to be more productive than what they have been so far. We've had pretty much the full 7 minutes now, just a couple of seconds to go until our referee Felix Zvea should be calling time on the first 45 minutes, and it's been an engrossing game here in Atlanta. Ball now back with Tuan Zebe, just goes square to Siddiqui, and he will play the ball forward, and that will be the last pass of this first half. So in Atlanta, Democratic Republic of Congo are trailing against Uzbekistan by a goal to the goal scored by Shmuradov. We're back in 15 minutes. Half-time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. The Asian side taking a shock lead inside 10 minutes through Eldor Shomurodov, their captain. A long ball sent over the top. It's flicked on brilliantly by Faiz Aliyev, and the Uzbekistan skipper latched onto it brilliantly. On the half volley, floats it over the DRC goalkeeper and into the back of the net for an early lead. DRC have scored themselves, and Buku with it, but pulled back for an earlier foul, and plenty of work to do for them in the second half. Half-time, DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half-time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faiz Aliyev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper, and passing is out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half-time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half-time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faiz Aliyev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper, and passing is out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half-time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half-time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faiz Aliyev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper, and passing is out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half-time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half-time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faiz Aliyev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper, and passing is out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half-time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half-time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faiz Aliyev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper, and passing is out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half-time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half-time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faiz Aliyev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper, and passing is out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half-time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half-time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faiz Aliyev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper, and passing is out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half-time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomurodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faisalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomorodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faizalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomorodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faizalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomorodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faizalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomorodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faizalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomorodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faizalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomorodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faizalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomorodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faizalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomorodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faizalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Half time in Atlanta, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. Eldor Shomorodov with the goal inside 10 minutes. A lovely flick on after a long ball forward by Faizalayev. Feeds his skipper brilliantly, who on the half volley does brilliantly well to chip over goalkeeper and passing us out. DRC have had the ball in the back of the net through Mbuku, but ruled out by VAR for an earlier foul in the build-up. All to do in the second half for the African side if they want to make it through to the knockouts. But at half time, it's DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1.
And it's a very warm welcome back to this independent off-tube studio-based commentary of this FIFA World Cup group stage game in Group K between Uzbekistan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. It was the Asian side that went in leading by a goal to nil after that first half strike, that early first half strike from Eldor Shomorodov, the captain.
And, well, it's all to do for the Democratic Republic of Congo in this second half if they want to qualify for the first time in their history for the knockout stage at a World Cup. No changes by the looks of things for either side going into this second half. No changes in commentary either. It's just myself, Luke Ashurst, alongside me, Paul Shabakovic, to take you through all the remaining football to be played in this one. And well, Paul, I think we were very, very impressed with Uzbekistan, but mightily disappointed by the DRC in that first half.
I think in equal measure. I think Uzbekistan played much better than we were expecting, and that was made to look even better by the fact that DRC were just so lethargic in defence, devoid of ideas in midfield, and lacking any connectivity in the final third. And all those three of those things have to change if they still want to have a realistic chance of trying to get into the knockout stage.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to be better in their second half. A reminder, by the way, that of course the other Group K game is being played at the moment and available on this service. It's currently Colombia 0, Portugal 0, which means it'll be the South Americans that top the group on 7 points. Oh, DRC almost play themselves into trouble down the near side. And passing Azar trying to link up with Axel Twanzebe, playing out from the back, put under pressure by Faiz Aliyev. And in the end, a free kick given against the Istanbul Başakşehir man. And very, very fortunate there for Twanzebe that the free kick was given, because that was almost a ball lost in a very dangerous area. I'll run you through the lineups in a moment or so. But it is the African side just keeping a hold of the ball at the moment, knocking it from side to side before moving forward. Here it is with the man who thought he'd equalised for the DRC in that first half, and Buku, but ruled out for a foul earlier on in the build-up, as we're going to see our first yellow card of the second half. And Buku away from a couple there down this near side, but a pull of the shirt has seen Felix Vaya blow for a free kick and a yellow card. Just trying to make out who it was that gave away that foul. It was the number 13, Nasr Aliyev, who I think is going to have done the heading of Mbuku by the end of this game, on two occasions, including the ruling out of the goal. He had a free kick given against him, Mbuku, for a handoff of the number 13, and on this occasion he beats the fullback, but he's pulled back, and rightly so, yellow card handed out to the Uzbek defender. That's a terrible effort from Kipenga there on the edge of the penalty area, and straight over the bar out for a goal kick. And it gives me a chance to run you through the lineups for the DRC. Some passing is out in goal, a back four of Maswaku, Twanzebe and Bemba and Wan-Bissaka. Midfield four of Kipenga, Sadiki, Mutsami and Mbuku, with Wissa and Bakambu making up the front two. As for Uzbekistan, it's Nemetov in goal, a back four of Ashurmatov, a back three I should say, of Ashurmatov, Kusanov and Urazov. Midfield four Alizanov, Shukadov, Mozgovoy and Nasr Aliyev, and then a front three of Khamadov, Shomorodov and Faiz Aliyev. As DRC have the ball back once more, and the ball spread onto the near side from Buku. Need to see more of him in this second half. Of course, got the ruled out goal in that first 45, but also looked dangerous. Having said that, he's given the ball away in a dangerous area, and here comes Uzbekistan, the counter tackle though. Ball won back well by Mutasami, and then Sadiki driving forward. Ball back, but keeps hold of the ball well. Wissa now into Mbuku, and Mbuku into Mutasami once more. Ball over onto the far side for Kipenga. Kipenga wants to run it. His man drives into the penalty area. Left-footed cutback is not a bad one. Sadiki, though, doesn't latch onto it and complains about the pass back to him.
Well, should Sadiki just maybe be a little bit quicker on his feet there to try and get to that ball? I agree, it probably wasn't played straight to him, but he was very static. He was expecting that ball just to be delivered to him.
Yeah, he certainly was. Here, though, come the DRC once more. Lovely run this from Kipenga. Ball to the box. Wissa with the left-footed effort. Wide of the far post. Really poor from the Newcastle United man. Kipenga again, the archetype. Architect for this DRC side, at least in a forward-thinking area, and Wissa really ought to have done better with that chance.
Well, I mean, he certainly should. He's almost hit that with almost the base of his boot there. He's not got a clean contact at all, and he sent that yards away from goal. Very disappointing from Wissa. And I say better from the DRC in the fact they are trying to get forward. It's just a case of whether they could find that right way to really put Uzbekistan under pressure, because they've struggled to do that in this game so far.
Yeah, they certainly have. Uzbekistan have a thrown over on the far side, taken long down the line by Ashurmatov. Gathered though in midfield well by Cedric Bakambu, who will feed him Buku near side. Not a great pass from the Real Betis man, who struggled in that first half, and it's intercepted well and cleared away by the goalkeeper Nemetov. Long ball sent forward, working towards the goal scorer Shomorodov. It's not a great one. Then that's a terrible pass out from Mpasi Nazau, who was asking, I think rather aggrievously, for more energy from Maswaku over on the far side. It's a dreadful pass, and here come Uzbekistan. That's a nice ball forward, straight towards goal. Shomurodov, top of the goal from the goal scorer. Over the crossbar in the end, but they almost played themselves into more trouble there, DRC.
Well, they almost did. I mean, for some of the fans behind the goal, from their perspective, it looks like it might have hit the net. We could see from our angle that it was always heading just a little bit over the bar, but it was a really good effort.
Yeah, really good effort. A sweeping right-footed strike from the 30-year-old. And he can't believe he's not found the back of the net with it. Early change being made in this second half, and this is unsurprising. Probably a change that should have been made at half-time. Cedric Bakambu off, and it's Mayele who comes on to replace him, the number 19. I mean, I'll be honest, he should have been off at half-time. Cedric Bakambu was dreadful in that first half. Fiston Mayele to replace him.
I just wonder whether or not Mayele wanted to, whether the manager wanted Mayele in for a little bit of a tactical team talk at half-time, and then he needed a few minutes on the touchline just to warm up, because I don't see the logic of giving Bakambu 5-6 minutes at the start of the second half. That change should have been made at half-time.
Yeah, it really should have done. Bakambu really struggled in this game so far. Let's see what Fiston Mayele can do. The Pyramids FC striker. Ball over on the far side now with Kapenga. Moves it inside to Wissa. Wissa now onto the near side from Mbuku, trying to create the space surrounded by two in white, but Mbuku does well to get towards the byline. Chip ball in towards the 6-yard box, headed away well by Kusanov. Only his father was Wan-Bissaka. Edge of the penalty area now for Mutasami. Mutasami over to Maswaki, further wide now for Kapenga. Kapenga wants it onto his right boot. He's held up well. Eventually he'll cross the ball in. Blocked though in the end by Shukurov. And play will continue with Maswaki now in possession. Floated ball towards the back post, whistles up, heads up into the air, and it'll be cleared away by Nasralayev on this near side as he drives down the Uzbekistan left-hand side. He's got Faizalayev in front of him. Will try and feed the 22-year-old, but it's a pass that's massively overhit and gathered by Axel Twanzebe. I almost think there he should do better, Nasralayev, because there was a counter-attacking opportunity.
There certainly was, and I think that from Uzbekistan's point of view, if they see a chance, because to break off from that, because here comes DRC.
Yeah, here it is with Mbuku, near side ball in towards the penalty area. It's a head go up, it's Mayele with it. It's over his head though, and Uzbekistan can get clear towards halfway, and here they come on the counter-attack. Challenge made over on the far side, but the ball is won well, and the DRC mounting a bit of pressure. Here it is again with Kapenga, surrounded by two once more, still gets in the right boot. Kapenga with the effort. High and wide and not very handsome. Great skill with the ball on the floor. Once the strike comes in, it's not convincing, but they're looking a lot better already, DRC.
They are. They've got a bit more of a spring in their step. They've clearly been told they've got to do a lot more to give themselves a competitive chance in this group. And we're certainly seeing the result of that already, but we need to see a lot more.
They need 2 goals to go through at a minimum, the Democratic Republic of Congo. They haven't got one just yet, although they are ploughing forward looking for one. That's a really poor pass from Chancel and Bemba. In fact, it's Siddiqui with it, looking for Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is now out of position. What's the decision going to be on the near side as the ball's ended up out of place? It was Uzbekistan throw. We've got a problem here for Mozgovoy, who's been left stricken inside the DRC half, and Bemba not happy that the game's been stopped. He's in a lot of discomfort here, the Uzbekistan number 6, and this is not good to see. It looked a pretty innocuous challenge from Wan-Bissaka.
I actually think he's caused more of a problem with the ball hitting the Uzbekistan man. Has he actually made contact with his boot? He has a bit as well, actually. I saw, yeah, there is a little bit of a follow-through there as well, but I think it's just...
I'm not sure there's much in that, though, Paul. For him to go down like he has done and need treatment, this is really odd.
I genuinely think this is the ball knocking his potentially his ankle or his knee joint. I mean, it seems like a strange one, because there didn't seem to be much contact with the actual opposition player at all, but it looks like the ball has struck him really hard.
The only thing I can potentially, or the only reasoning I can potentially give to this is, I have had it before where if the ball is volleyed into your foot and it's up in the air, so there's not really any tension in your ankle, if it strikes against your ankle, it can sprain it, but it didn't even look like the ball came off his ankle at that much pace. He looks in a lot of discomfort here, does Akmal Mozgovoy. I really can't work out what it is. Kind of are not happy with the decision from the referee. It looked so innocuous. And when he's gone off the side of the field, he's going to have to wait a minute until he comes on, the number 6. It's an unfortunate one, but yeah, really, really strange. Either way, we're back on the way now. Ball all the way back at the goalkeeper, Nemetov, who will launch along with his right boot. He's got some right boot on him, hasn't he? Uzbekistan's number 12. He's launched at an absolute mile, but either way, they don't come away with it, the Asian side. And here comes Noah Siddiqui driving forward. Kapenga now over on the far side, away from a couple. Right-footed ball is intercepted on the edge of the penalty area, and Uzbekistan will drive forward. Here it is with Shamuradov. Nice bit of play from him to hold up the ball and drive into DRC territory. Plays it back into midfield for Shukurov. Under pressure from the substitute Mayele. Will go back over onto the far side for Alizanov. Alizanov back to Shermatov. Into Shukurov once more, and now all the way back to Nemetov, who will take his time over it before launching it long over the top. But it's towards nobody in white and easily gathered by Arthur Masuaku, who will fire onto the near side for Wan-Bissaka. He'll step forward into Uzbek territory before moving it back inside to Mutasami. Mutasami now looking for options around him. Nobody shows until Siddiqui drops short. Well, it's played over onto the far side for Masuaku. Here it is now with Kapenga. Wants to run at his man and will get a run at his man. Ball to the near post is flicked on towards Whistler and defended well in the end by Abdul Kadir Kusanov. Still the chances there though for the DRC. Ball in from Mbuku, not a bad one, but it's too flat, easily dealt with. And Bemba though will gather 30 yards away from goal. His ball towards Whistler is flicked away well in the end by Udazov. And then was Kapenga fouled there over on the far side. Referee Felix Vaya says no. Chance still there though for the DRC as they keep this pressure on. Mutasami, ball over onto the far side for Masuaku. In fact, it's Siddiqui bringing it forward. Mutasami once more, who's playing in a much more advanced position in this second half. Masuaku, Siddiqui, 20 yards out, had the overlapping runner. Kapenga didn't use him, so we'll go into Mutasami once more. Wan-Bissaka, near side for Mbuku, left-footed strike towards goal. Is not convincingly safe. Still the chances there. Oh, it's going to go in. No, it's been missed. What an opportunity! Brilliantly recycled by Chancel and Bemba. Surely that's not the offside flag up again as the ball comes across, and it should have been tapped in by Mayele. That's the chance for the DRC.
That's the chance, but where's the offside?
He's miles off.
He is miles off, and as I say, different player, but it's the same problem. Bakambu hardly got any service at all, and he still managed to find himself offside a couple of times. And now Fiston Mayele is doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, really disappointing from the substitute. The fact that he missed, he's had his blushes saved by the offside flag.
It's almost just like it's a knee-jerk reaction to go after the ball, forgetting the fact that there's an offside rule. I know it sounds a little bit simplistic, but it genuinely looks like that because he wasn't paying attention at all. And now it's going to be a time for a double change from Uzbekistan.
Yeah, one of those players coming off is the number 7, Shukurov. Off he goes, and off goes the number 17 as well, Hamadov. We haven't really seen too much of the 17. It's very much been Faizalayev of that front three, or the two wingers I should say, who have been the more impressive. As that double change is made, it's the number 9 who comes on, Ardilijan Kamrabakev, and it's also Ganiev as well, the number 19, who'll come on in midfield. I think that's just in search of fresh legs, to be honest.
It certainly is, yeah. There's not really any change of style or formation. It's like for like swaps. Wide midfielder and a central midfielder coming on to replace the same. Here come DRC down the left-hand side with Kapenga.
Yeah, lovely run from Kapenga, but eventually he's thwarted inside the penalty area. Now it's an opportunity for Uzbekistan to drive forward, although they've lost out in midfield once more, and the DRC have got bodies forward. Kapenga had to play the pass. Still though, the chance is there. Here it is on the edge of the box. Mbuku trying to create the space. He's so one-dimensional though, the number 7. The strike comes in from Mutasami. That's comfortably over the crossbar in the end. They've got no idea what they want to do with the ball in the final third of the DRC.
No, they don't. And that is proving to be a problem because they're actually getting enough attacking possession to cause problems now, but they're just still not being able to do it. The quality of the ball in is still very poor.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a decent move there that they just couldn't make anything of. The African side, and that's thoroughly disappointing, you have to say, from their point of view. It's just under an hour played in Atlanta. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. It's a DRC 0, Uzbekistan 1. This second half has flown by so far. But that's not what the DRC need at all. What they need is a goal, and a goal soon, if they're going to have any chance of going through as one of the 8 best third-place finishers. Ball over on the far side with Kapenga. Held up by 2 in white before he goes back into Masuaku. Early ball in from him. It's not a bad one. Whistle with the flick on wide of the post. Again, another huge opportunity. Whistle not known for his aerial ability. It's a great ball in from Masuaku, but it's maybe, you'd say, slightly overhit as it goes through towards the former Brentford man.
Yeah, I mean, Wissa's having to strain out. Potentially, if he leaves that, it might have actually dropped to Mabuku, who stood behind it, but Wissa was at full stretch to even get anything on that one.
Yeah, he certainly was. It's not a bad ball in from Masuaku, but the chance goes a-begging once more. Good sustained spell of pressure, this from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Just as I say that, Gani Evers won it back in midfield, and they'll drive forward down the far side, floats the ball in. It's a good one, great header away from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Crucial bit of defending there, and here come the DRC on the counter-attack. Kipenge, ball in behind, looking towards Maele. You can tell that he's a 32-year-old chasing after that. The legs were not there for the substitute.
No, he couldn't get on the end of that one, but the throw has been taken quickly. Here's Wissa.
Yeah, Wissa holds off a couple of challenges really quite nicely, and then that's Mutasami losing out in midfield, and he's going to be yellow carded for that chance from behind. He has been so poor in midfield as Mutasami. He looks like he can barely run in that midfield alongside Noah Siddiqui, and I'm not being funny, Sunderland fans will tell you 70% of the world is covered in water, the rest by Noah Siddiqui, and if he can't cover all the ground that Mutasami is leaving free, then absolutely nobody can.
Well, Muntasami is a central midfielder who's hardly seen the ball. We've hardly mentioned him, and that's always a problem. Your central midfielder has to be involved, even if his side aren't seeing too much of the ball. He's got to be one of the players trying to win it back, trying to bolster that team, and he's just not doing it at all. Siddiqui and Muntasami, now the two central midfielders, both on yellow cards.
Yeah, they certainly are. Early ball into the penalty area over on the far side from Uzbekistan is a poor one, straight into the hands of goalkeeper, and passing is out. He will try and get his side moving quickly. Mutasami over onto the far side for Masuaku. His touch allows the challenge to come in, but a free kick has been given for a challenge over on the far side. It was Hamrabakov who was giving it away, and it's going to be an opportunity for the DRC to come forward to see a replay of that from Wan-Bissaka. That's such brave defending, diving in with Faiz Aliyev. It's a brilliant header away from the former Manchester United man.
Did really well that he needed to do that because Faiz Aliyev wasn't too far away from getting on the end of it.
He certainly was. Mutasami now in possession for the DRC. Ball to the near side for Mbuku. Mbuku, nice ball down the line for Wan-Bissaka, who made the underlapping run. Wan-Bissaka, was he fouled there from behind? Referee says no, but for some reason Wan-Bissaka then runs all the way back to the halfway line before getting Mutasami to restart. Mutasami, ball in behind, looking towards Maele. It passes over here to straight out of play for a goal kick. That's really poor thing from Wan-Bissaka down the near side. Mutasami looking to try and be expansive, but Wan-Bissaka's first touch is so bad, he's forced to run all the way back to the halfway line.
Well, he is, and now we get shots of Sebastian Desabre, and you can tell that he's sort of almost perplexed by it. He's got a slightly sort of confused look on his face, thinking, what else can I do? These aren't my players. There just seems to be a disconnect with the DRC players this evening.
They look like a side who haven't played together with each other very much, which we know isn't the case at all. And, well, it's bitterly disappointing to see, but here come Uzbekistan now, driving forward as the DRC gives the ball away in midfield. That's good defending there from Chancellor Mbemba to win the ball back. And they almost try and invite the pressure on from Uzbekistan before launching long. It's not what you need if you're the Democratic Republic of Congo. They've given the ball away again, and this suits Uzbekistan down to the ground. Here's Mozgovoy now in midfield. Yeah, linking up with Gonoviev. Gonoviev now back to Mozgovoy once more, and there's no pressure on the ball from the DRC. They're just allowing Uzbekistan to have it and switch the ball from left to right. Ball played early inside, looking towards Shomorodov. Mbemba can't get there. Ball in behind, looking towards Faiz Aliyev, and it'll be cleared out of play by Mpasi Nizal on the near side. This game almost feels done already. 64 minutes gone.
It does. It almost feels like DRC have just run out of ideas, and I can't really understand why. You just feel that they should be tearing up the pitch to get through into the knockout stage of a World Cup, but just not able to do it. And in the meantime, it's Uzbekistan on the attack.
Yeah, it is. Faiz Aliyev down this near side has been mightily impressive so far in this game, although Mbuku has done well to win the ball back. Links up with Wan-Bissaka and Siddiqui. Ball sent forward is a decent one, held up well by Maele. Lovely bit of play from the striker. Was he fouled there? Felix Vaya says no, and eventually Maele loses possession, and it's slightly unsurprising, I'll be honest, that he has lost possession. It looks as though another change is being readied by Sebastian Desabre. It's Macau the number 6 ready to come on sooner rather than later. You'd imagine that change is going to be made at the hydration break, which is due in the next couple of minutes.
And it looks to be one of 3 changes as well.
3 changes ready to be made on this near side. I'm also seeing a number 10 as well, which means it'll be Bongonda, who's also ready to come on. Teo Bongonda, as here come the DRC once more, trying to drive down the far side again. Poor bit of play in the final third, giving the ball away. And now a chance for Uzbekistan to come forward. Faiz Aliyev down the near side. Foul from behind there, surely by Mutasami. Referee says no, much to the dismay of Fabio Cannavaro and his coaching staff. Play continues though with the DRC in possession. Sadiki along halfway, skips away from a couple. Will then play Mutasami on the near side, who takes the play down to walking pace. Not what the Democratic Republic of Congo needs. Sadiki now trying to turn it up into Mbuku on the near side. Ball to the box. A flat one.
Oh, penalty!
And that'll be a penalty. It's really lackadaisical defending inside the penalty area, and it's who else but Abdulkadir Kusanov, the star boy of Uzbekistani football, who's given it away. Cannavaro not happy. He thought there was a foul on the near side that should have stopped that move from advancing, but it wasn't given by Felix Via. Play continued, and Kusanov, who we said is so immature positionally, has kicked through the back of Johan Wissa, and that is a Stonewall penalty every day of the week.
It is a Stonewall penalty. There's no way.
It's so bad.
He's just slung a leg out and he's caught Wissa. And I mean, it's not as if Wissa's trying to get the foul or trying to win the penalty. He's gone for the ball and then had his foot taken away from him.
It's so bad from Abdulkadir Kusanov, who really, I'll be honest, has probably been the worst of the 3 central defenders for Uzbekistan this evening. As we've said, his market value is probably 90% of the market value of the entire Uzbek squad, but he's really not performed this evening, and it looks as though
Mbemba's going to take the penalty.
It looks as though it's going to be the captain, Chancellor Mbemba, to step up and take it. Something has happened on the near side, which means that the DRC are not happy. Something's going on. Maybe it's the Uzbekistani players stepping into the penalty area. I mean, they've condoors, because I actually think Johan Wissa is going to take it, and Mbemba was standing over it.
Yeah, it's the usual trick of getting one big player just to stand over the ball, and once the referee's made cleared everyone away, then you can get the real penalty taker in, and it is going to be Johan Wissa.
What a huge moment in the World Cup this is. Johan Wissa stepping up in the heat of Atlanta, Georgia, to get his side back into this game and back within a chance of qualifying for the round of 32. Johan Wissa, slow run up, stuttered run up, but into the bottom corner, and the DRC are back level. Huge moments in this one. Johan Wissa withstands the pressure, and all of a sudden, the camera pans to Abdulkadir Kusanov, who's denied his side potentially a first ever victory in World Cup football. Brilliant penalty from Johan Wissa. Even if the goalkeeper goes the right way, he's not saving that. And well, it's the DRC 1, Uzbekistan 1.
He arrows that one into the bottom corner, side foot, but with a lot of power. Very confident penalty from Johan Wissa, and the DRC bench absolutely loving that. And the perfect timing, just as we should be going into the hydration break. So ideal now that Congo can get their ideas together with their manager and try and come out and win the game. But we've restarted for now, funnily enough.
I'm not entirely sure why we haven't gone straight to the hydration break there. Is there a rule that we can't go? Because I've seen this happen a couple of times now, where after the goal is scored, they don't go to a hydration break. Either way, here come Congo on the attack over on the far side. It's Kepenga trying to play it in behind, looking towards the substitute Maele, but the pass is overhit and straight into the hands of the goalkeeper Nemetov, who will take his time over it before bowling it onto the near side for Urazov. Urazov now looking for options around him, will float it long down the near side. Wan-Bissaka with the scuff clearance gives the ball away in midfield. Here it is now with one of the substitutes, Ganiev, who will drive down this near side. Good bit of play from him. He's held up in the end. In fact, it's Sharakov trying to come forward. He's then gone through the back of Mbuku after the DRC win the ball back, and that should indeed see the game paused for the hydration break, and it will do. We've now got a game on our hands. It's not been the highest quality by any stretch of the imagination this evening in Atlanta, but independent off-tube studio-based commentary. It's DRC 1, Uzbekistan 1. It's been back and forth, and now all of a sudden you expect the Democratic Republic of Congo to really go hell for leather and try and get themselves another goal to see themselves through to the next round of this World Cup. A reminder that they've only ever qualified for the World Cup once previously. That was back in 1974 when the country was known as Zaire. They lost all 3 games of that tournament, and well, they have a chance to make history this evening to these players by becoming the first Congolese side to make it out of the group stage of a World Cup. They're getting strong words now from their manager, Sebastian Desabre, who's got a brilliant record in charge of the Democratic Republic of Congo. As for Fabio Cannavaro, Paul, what does he say to his side now? Because let's not forget, look, they may have thrown away the victory. You maybe can't see them coming back and getting another goal in this one, Uzbekistan. But a point would still be a huge result for them.
Oh, it certainly would be, and I think that from Uzbekistan's point of view, they haven't been able to upset Congo's rhythm, DRC's rhythm as much in this second half as they did in the first. That's partly down to DRC being a much more difficult outfield to try and actually break down. But I'll be fascinated to see how these last 20 minutes play out, because I think Cannavaro, he's got a very difficult balancing act now, because if he tells his players to sit back, they're just going to invite more pressure. But if he tells them to push too far forward, they're going to leave themselves too exposed to the back as well. So it's a very, very difficult balancing act.
It certainly is. As players continue to get more instructions on this near side. A reminder that later on there are another 2 games available, kicking off at 3 AM British time this evening. Jordan face Argentina in Group J, as do Algeria versus Austria. I'm really intrigued to see how that Algeria-Austria game plays out. In case you were unaware, both sides know that a 0-0 draw sees them through to the next round of the competition. We had a similar situation a couple of days ago in the game between Australia and Paraguay. Unsurprisingly, the 2 sides played out a pretty drab 0-0 draw. I don't think anywhere near enough was made of that game. A lot has already been said in the build-up to the game between Algeria and Austria. Of course, after the disaster at World Cup 82, involving both sides, by the way, Austria knocking Algeria out, having played out a 1-0 defeat against West Germany. I'm very, very intrigued to see how that game goes and how FIFA approach it. But that is a story for later on in the day, because we're now going to see a fair few changes as we exit the hydration break, and I hand it over to Paul to take us through to full time.
Thank you very much. Just as we make that triple jump, really have to be on my toes now. But no surprise to see that Muntasami is going off. He's been disappointing. Mabuku had that moment of brilliance in the first half, but he's been quiet. And the final change there was Kikpenga, who I think might have just run his race now. But it's Macau, Bongonda and Elia come on to replace them.
Yeah, triple change made by Sebastian Desabre. I think a lot of that is bringing on players with fresh legs and seeing what they can do at this late stage. You feel like Uzbekistan are potentially tiring, and you've got to try and take advantage of that where you can. Faisal Aliyev has also been brought off as well from an Uzbek point of view. On comes Ostan Uranov, the 25-year-old Persepolis midfielder. That's a relatively defensive change, I feel, in that sense. A winger who also plays in central midfield, much more defensive compared to Faisal Aliyev. But yeah, that triple change made by DRC, taking advantage of the fact that at the minute Uzbekistan are very much on the back foot.
Well, they very much are, and it's just a case of whether or not DRC have got enough about them to really exploit that now and go for the win and potentially get an extra goal or two. Straight away, Theo Bongonda getting involved, deflects the ball off Nasser Aliyev, and DRC have a corner.
Yeah, really good start there from Mbonga, who needs to be switched on and get his side down the other end of the field. It's there's not much to say that hasn't already been said. Time is ticking, but there needs to be some quality.
Ball into the 6-yard box. It's a little bit too low, and it's easily cleared. Now a chance here for Uzbekistan to go forward, but that's a really good challenge in midfield. Winning that ball back there was Macau. The ball played down this right-hand side as DRC look, but that's been won back. Good work there from the substitutes, Uranov, to try and get the ball away for his team. And eventually Nasser Aliyev gets a deflection. I think that's gone out for a throw to DRC after all of that. But yeah, that triple change just at the hydration break. No, it's a throw on to DRC in an attacking position. So here comes Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's not going to waste any time. He's straight up the field to try and get this ball into the penalty area. And he does launch it long. Headed on at the edge of the 6-yard box. It was Mbemba with the header, but then it's Nasser Aliyev with a quick clearance up towards the halfway line. And they'll be hoping they can keep the ball, but again, it's been won back very quickly here. There really is a spring in the step now from a DRC, and it does beg the question why they didn't come out at the start of the game with this kind of attitude.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a moment, doesn't it, to get you going, and we see that time and time again in football. And I think that moment came with the penalty, and as long as it comes at some point, you put yourselves in a decent position to kick on. Here they come now, Wan-Bissaka down the near side.
Yeah, with a whip of this Wan-Bissaka, but the header is over the bar. He's quite a long way over the bar in the end there from Mayele, but it was always difficult. I think the ball was just coming in at quite a height as well.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was always going to be a difficult header. There's not much he could do. Could he maybe head it back across goal? Yeah, probably. He's never going to score from there. He has got to go back across goal, and I think he probably realises that.
Yeah, in the end, nothing doing with that one, but still 15 minutes plus some injury time to go in this game. And just a reminder, we are less than an hour away now from the final group games of this 2026 World Cup. Algeria, Austria, as Luke already mentioned, with that interesting dynamic of both teams really wanting to lose that game. And then, of course, Jordan, Argentina. Argentina, I've already had a quick glance at the teams, minus Lionel Messi, but it's still a very strong side. And as I say, I still expect Argentina to put on a decent show in that game. We'll wait and see how those two games play out. And just in case there wasn't enough football for you today, because of course we are into Sunday now at 8 o'clock this evening UK time, we're into the first of the knockout games. It will be South Africa against Canada, and that game is going to be played in LA. But back here in Atlanta, it is DRC in possession down the left-hand side. Oh, the ball played back to Masuaku. We really had to chase that one just to make sure it stays in play. Now it goes square to Tuanzebe. Back to Masuaku, who then tries a diagonal ball through the middle. Wissa maybe unnecessarily put a foot to that, because then it just guides it away a little bit from Mayele. But Wissa wins it back in midfield. Play to the edge of the area. Chance it now. It's back with Wissa. Thought about going for goal. He leaves it now. It's played over towards the left-hand side. Here's Elia. Elia trying to take on his man, and they're appealing that it should be a goal kick. And the referee agrees. It's good work there from Azilayev. He just gets that deflection. It'll only be a goal kick.
Yeah, good bit of defending there from the Uzbekistani man. Really good play from Wissa, driving from deep in midfield. It's also a really good hold-up play by Mayele. I just feel like once he gets to Macau, it doesn't really do Wissa any favours. In fact, it was Bongonda, wasn't it, the number 10? Doesn't really do Wissa any favours. I think in that position, as Wissa's arriving late, you just get yourself out of the way, don't you, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that there's a danger now. They've got so many forward players on the field, they may actually start to crowd each other a little bit here at DRC, but they've got to try again, and they are trying again. Here they go, down the left-hand side, and here's with Meshak Elia. He goes for goal himself. Big deflection, and it's into the back of the net. And on this occasion, Fiston Mayele is not offside. A great bit of instinctive striker play, and DRC have turned it around. On 77 minutes, they lead 2-1.
Credit where credit's due to Sebastian de Sabra, because these changes have worked an absolute treat. I said earlier on, he is a man who knows what he's doing. He knows how to turn games around, and that's exactly what he's done. The camera panned to him straight away, because it's his changes that have turned this one around. Absolute delight for the Democratic Republic of Congo. Absolute delight for Fiston Mayele, who actually, as this game has gone on, has done brilliantly well to get involved and offer himself as a physical presence inside the penalty area. It's decisive running down the far side. It's a strike towards goal. I think Mayele may just be onside. He does so well though to react to the ball. It's a lovely finish. I mean, it's a real striker's goal. It really is. It's showing initiative. Uzbekistan caught on their heels. I really hope for the DRC's sake that this goal is onside. They've deserved it for their reaction in this second half, and well, it's really top quality strikers play from Fiston Mayele.
It really is. Those DRC fans absolutely loving it, and the players on the field are loving it as well. The referee is pointing to the middle, so if there was a VAR check for an offside, it has been completed. The goal will stand, and so with 12 minutes plus injury time to go, DRC now lead against Uzbekistan by 2-1. And well, we'll see, of course, how the game goes from here, because in terms of how straight away Uzbekistan trying to get on the attack with a ball down the right-hand side towards Shmuradov. He then gets bumped off the ball, but it is out for a throw to Uzbekistan down the right-hand side. Say Congo don't want to, the DRC don't want to celebrate too early either, because there's still plenty of time in this game for Uzbekistan to spoil the party.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, they've not exactly been convincing defensively, have they? The DRC, they've done their best work by keeping the ball down the other end of the field. Yeah, they've got to stay switched on, because Uzbekistan will now do everything they can to try and get themselves a first World Cup point with 10 minutes remaining.
Well, here they go again now, Uzbekistan down the right-hand side. That's not a good ball out from Masuaku, just gives it away, but he gets a second chance because Alice Hazov would just touch that ball onto him, and he wasn't able to get it back towards his teammate in support there, Ganyev. Now it's cleared towards the halfway line. Real heavy touch there. Gets that ball away from Morozov, but he just about manages to get the pass over towards Alice Honov here on the right-hand side. Tracking back well there was Bongonda for DRC, but his pass towards the left-hand side for Elia has been picked up. That was an early ball towards the edge of the area where Shmuradov was moving towards the box, but this one has been cleared back into midfield. Masuaku then towards the halfway line. It's a quick ball played down the left-hand side, but it will get cleared out for a throw. And all of a sudden, it's like Uzbekistan conceding that goal has suddenly woken them up.
Yeah, again, it's about moments in football, and it's about how you respond to those moments. The DRC have really got to stay switched on now, because Uzbekistan will throw everything at this. I just think they've got to show a bit of quality. That from Masuaku is not quality. They've also got to show composure. They've never been in this position. And they are so close to setting up a tie with England in the next round. We're going to see the 3D graphics to how tight this offside was. I mean, in the end, it's probably not as tight as it maybe looked, because the hand is what's closest to being offside, and obviously the hand can't be offside.
No, it can't. I mean, as I say, it's that borderline between. Well, certainly, yeah. That graphic there was actually quite confusing, because I think for somebody who's perhaps new to football and trying to learn the minutiae of the offside rule, that graphic would confuse them, because it would make them think that you can be offside because your arm's offside, whereas you can't be offside with your arm being offside.
Yeah.
So it's it's slightly confusing, but certainly from the point of view, the goal wasn't there wasn't an offside. There was absolutely the correct decision. Just getting more replays of those delighted DRC fans telling the camera that it is now a 2-1, and another change here now. The final change it will be Uruzov, the centre back, is going. In fact, I beg your pardon. They will still have one more change here left, won't they? Uzbekistan, but it looks like it is Uruzov who's gone off.
Yeah, it's a double change. It's Uruzov who's gone off, and it was trying to make out who it was. The second player that's gone off. Uruzov been replaced by Sergeyev. And it was also Mozgovoy who was brought off, and Iskandarov who's on to replace him. So Uzbekistan have now rolled all their dice, and that's all of them now, all the changes they can make. And yeah, it's there's nothing more Fabio Cannavaro can do now. All his work at this World Cup has been done. He's now got to hope the players on the pitch can do it.
Absolutely, yes, and from his point of view, he certainly feels so inside. But we're going to get one more change in now for DRC, as well as Artem Masuaku is going to be going off for these last few minutes.
Couldn't make those changes when Uzbekistan were making those changes, could they? We've had to wait until.
Yeah, well, it's all about getting that clock to tick down. It's, as I say, and until we as a footballing community stand up and say it's ridiculous that so much time is allowed to be wasted, and we want to see a stop clock in football, until that happens, we're going to get more and more of this, I think.
They just don't think about the commentators, do they, when they make these changes? That's the problem.
Well, no, I think, again, to say, you always assume there's going to be new fans at a World Cup, new people watching football and perhaps trying to get into it a little bit more. That's always, I think, the thing that's going to confuse people the most. It's why there isn't a stop clock in football, in the same way that try and explain to someone like an American, for example, who's never followed cricket, why, if it's raining today, just wait until it stops raining then. It's just understanding certain sort of fine detail of certain sports sometimes can be a little bit confusing, but certainly as far as this game is concerned, that's really poor there. Wan-Bissaka giving the ball away in midfield. Suddenly this has woken up the Uzbekistan attack down the left-hand side, heading towards the edge of the area. There is Uranov. He can't quite get that ball in towards the box, so just trying to do a little bit too much himself.
Yeah, great defending from Noah Siddiqui, getting back well. He's worked tirelessly so far in this game. He really has. It's poor from Wan-Bissaka, but it's recovered back well from Siddiqui. And now here's an opportunity for the DRC to come for. Oh, Maele had a bit better control on the edge of the penalty area. He'd have been in there for his second of the game.
He certainly would have been, but the ball just couldn't quite sit with him there, and it's been cleared and played all the way back towards the goalkeeper. Now we've still got 6 minutes plus added time to go. It's now starting to look a little bit more like the sort of stats we would have expected to see in this game. 13 efforts from DRC, just 3 efforts from Uzbekistan, but something for Sebastian de Sabre to think about. For 13 efforts on goal, only 3 of them on target.
Yeah,
and one of them is a penalty.
One of them is a penalty. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'll be honest though, I don't think anybody came into this tournament thinking DRC were going to be the highest scorers in the competition, put it that way. So I think basically what it is you do well to take the big chances that come your way, and the 2 biggest chances that came their way, they've finished. So again, I'll come back to what I've said before. It's about moments. It's about who responds in those moments. In that first half, Uzbekistan were responding to the moments better. In this second half, it's absolutely been the DRC who have capitalised on those moments, and I would argue they'll thoroughly deserve the victory if they're able to hold on onto it.
Yeah, I think that their value for it now, as I say, they were valued for nothing in that at the end of the first half, and they deserve to be going in 1-0 down. But they have definitely stepped up in the second half, and they've put the kind of pressure on Uzbekistan I would have wanted them to have put in the first half. I expect them to come out really racing out the traps, but it didn't quite work out. We've got to give credit to Fabio Cannavaro's side as well for coming out with really good intent. And of course, having the ball in the net inside 20 seconds was a very good evidence of that. But here they go again now, Uzbekistan. They haven't said the last word in this game yet. If they can spoil the party and get themselves a World Cup point in their last game, they'll certainly want to do that.
Yeah, 100%. Look, it's always a huge feat to get to a World Cup anyway. I think a lot of credit's got to go to Uzbekistan for getting there. A lot has been, I've heard far too many times during this tournament that Europe is the hardest confederation to qualify out of. That's an obscene amount of games. So Uzbekistan have done brilliantly well to get through Asian qualifying. They really have. And the fact of the matter is they've scored 2 goals, one against Colombia, not an easy feat at all, as we've seen throughout this tournament. Portugal will attest to that this evening. And they've also scored against the Democratic Republic of Congo as well, who have only conceded 2 going into this one. So look, they've done very, very well. Will they be disappointed that they're probably not even going to come away with a point? Yes, quite possibly, but there is so much to build from, and as we've seen time and time again, when nations qualify for a tournament, when they see their best players put on show in front of billions and billions around the world, that nation tends to progress massively in their footballing journey. And I hope we do see Uzbekistan progress massively, because we don't have enough top quality Asian teams in the world at the moment.
No, we don't. And as I say, there's certainly scope there. There is money within the country. There is development within the country, and they are, as I say, and we've already seen a couple of players making their way into top European leagues as well. And the more that happens, the fact that they got somebody like Fabio Cannavaro, that again adds a bit more profile to the country's football. And so I always think that once you've had one marquee international manager, it's always easier to get the next one, because it's almost like the next one says, oh well, if Cannavaro liked it, then maybe I'll like it as well, and it just allows for a bit of a sort of a progress as well. But yeah, I've been they were overrun completely in the game against Portugal. They conceded early, and they weren't at the races in that game, but they have tried very hard in the other 2.
Yeah, they certainly have. And look, there's no shame in getting thumped by Portugal. That happens. They got a goal. Sorry, they didn't get a goal, but it got ruled out. But yeah,
that was a great goal as well.
It was a fantastic goal. You know, they've really put themselves on show in the world stage, and I think that part of the world is so underrepresented in world football. But we've seen a Kazakh side qualify for the Champions League in Kairat Almaty in the season just gone. You know, we're seeing Uzbekistan play at the World Cup. We're seeing players from those nations end up playing for big European side. Hearts have had a player in their team this season nearly win the SPFL from that part of the world. Oh, strike comes in from distance out of nowhere. It was Maele with it wide of the post in the end, and out of play for a goal kick. Of course, you've got Abdulkadir Kusanov. You've got the 2 Istanbul Başakşehir players in Shomorodov and Faiz Aliyev as well in this side. I think there's so much room to grow from that part of the world, and it is really, really exciting to see.
Absolutely, it is. As I say, we want the game to be a truly global game. The fact that there have only been, is it 8 winners in total of the FIFA World Cup since it started? You want that over the next 40, 50 years, that number to certainly to go up by a few at least. It was made great strides to see new nations win the World Cup, but the ball played into the penalty area, and it's quickly cleared. As I say, Uzbekistan just trying to put a little bit more pressure on their Chancellor Mbemba, feeling a little bit of pain. Both sets of players have got to be careful now, because both managers have made 5 changes.
Yeah, they have done. Mbemba, I think he may have just been caught there, and maybe also suffering from a little bit of cramp. This is when the heat is really going to start hitting, and tiredness is really going to start playing on playing its effects on those players who've played all 90 minutes and have really had to dig in and work hard, as all that wasn't a great change in midfield, and Felix Valla's not giving it as a free kick, which has really shocked me.
Yeah, and the DRC bench is up in arms with that as well. They've been a bit frustrated with the referee this evening. It's clear, I mean, as I say, I've done a couple of games at this World Cup where but the referee's been a UEFA referee that I've seen many times in the European competitions, and they've been basically told to be lenient. It's so obvious. Istvan Kovac, a game I did a few days ago, I should say, he was letting everything go, but Johan Wissa brought down, that should be a booking as well.
Yeah, it should be. Just trying to make out who it was. It was Goniev who broke down the counter-attack, and I probably should have been a yellow card. Do you know what, though? I think you're right about the European referees. They have been told to let things go more than they do in UEFA competition, but I've been very, very impressed with the refereeing in this tournament as a whole. Yes, we've seen some really shocking decisions. The lack of a penalty from Mbappe in that Senegal game. You'd probably even say the decision to rule out the goal earlier on in this game was quite a shocking decision. But yeah, ultimately, I think the referee's been great. As a striker cross goal is just going to go wide. In fact, actually, it's going to be kept in. Here come the DRC.
Here come the DRC. They've still got plenty of time. We've got 8 minutes of added time just been displayed by our fourth official. We have no idea. Oh, what the heck? That is from Wissa. He just turns at the edge of the area, looks up, and then sends an absolute beauty into the bottom corner. We're not going to need 8 minutes of added time now because DRC have got their 3 points. They've got their 2+ goal difference, and they'll be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, they certainly will be. Emotions high on the DRC bench and in the squad as well, as Johan Wissa is lifted in front of the crowd. What a moment that is for the African side. Absolute jubilation in the stands at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This is a huge moment. Look, we were talking about already this evening recently about how huge it's been for Uzbekistan, this tournament. But what a moment this is for the Democratic Republic of Congo and for African football as a whole. I think African representation at this tournament has been superb. There have been some fantastic football on display from African nations, and the DRC, for the first time in their history, are going to make it out of the group stage of the World Cup. And what a finish that is from Johan Wissa to cap off this performance. It's really great play over on the far side from the substitute Elia to keep the ball moving and keep the ball in play. Does brilliantly well to find Wissa, and what an unbelievable finish that is.
Stunning.
He's had a really tricky 12 months as a Newcastle United man. Fell out with people at Brentford, demanded a move away from the club rather unceremoniously when he deserved a nice send-off from the Bees. Turned up at Newcastle, was unfit, had his injury problems, didn't perform in the African Cup of Nations, but this evening he has really turned up for his nation, and what a superb moment that is for the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yes, Uzbekistan will try and reply, but I tell you what, it's going to take some doing now to get themselves back into this game.
Well, it is. We've still got 6 minutes to play in this game. There has been a VAR check, and the goal that Colombia scored in that game against Portugal has been ruled out, so it is still 0-0 in that game. They're into the 4th minute of added time. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is now feeling a little bit of cramp. As I say, it's been quite confusing for me in terms of the added time. You mentioned that refereeing overall, I've been happy with the refereeing as well. There've been a few games where they've been a little bit too lenient, but overall they are trying to let the game flow. We don't want to have a game which is constantly being slowed down by the refs. It has actually gone out for a corner to Uzbekistan. It's an out-swinging ball headed away at the edge of the 6-yard box by Johan Wissa, who's very quickly pushing himself into that position of being man of the match.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think with 2 goals, you're pretty certain to be man of the match, aren't you? Even though he's been yellow card, I think Noah Siddiqui is a player who could be up there as well. Really been impressive in midfield alongside Mutasami, who's really struggled. To be fair, Macau's been excellent alongside Siddiqui since coming on. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be Johan Wissa with the 2 goals.
Yeah, you'd expect it to be. And
2 of the biggest goals in DRC history. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. The goal that gave them the goal that brought them level, and then the goal that then wraps up the points. The first and third goals this evening for DRC scored by Johan Wissa, and I tell you what, that second goal for Johan Wissa, that's already pushing to be one of the better ones of the tournament so far.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen some absolute belters throughout this tournament, haven't we? Really top quality.
It's the way he just threads that ball is superb.
It's beautiful, and you know what as well, with that goal, which this is amazing as well. With that goal, the DRC will be at top of the table of the 3rd place finishers. Yeah, I mean, what a moment! Without doubt, this will probably go down as the greatest game in Democratic Republic of Congo history, and it's fantastic to see. They set themselves up a tie with England on July the 1st, and the winner of that game will go through to face either Mexico or Ecuador. And I tell you what, no disrespect to Mexico or Ecuador, but they're teams that arguably could be beaten by anybody on their day. You know, we're not talking a France or a Spain or a Germany here. We are talking a pretty nice route towards the quarterfinals. I have to say, yes, it'll be difficult with Mexico on home soil, but I think if the DRC can frustrate England as Ghana did, they could be with a real shout of causing a big upset. I mean, it sounds crazy to say this, but after the first half, where we were massively slandering the Congo.
They were playing very poorly. We couldn't understand why, but they're going for goal again here now. An effort from outside the box is also a long way over the bar in the end. Not quite what wanted to do there, Makaya, but the ball goes over the bar and it's out for a goal. It's all over in the other game. Colombia-Portugal has finished goalless. We've still got around 3 minutes to go in our game.
Yeah, we have. I mean, delight for Colombia. It's a huge result for them to finish top of the group. Massively benefits them in terms of their next round because it means they'll face Ghana and then followed by either Switzerland or Iran, depending on what happens later on between Algeria and Austria. They'll then face one of Argentina, Cape Verde, Australia or Egypt. So really great result for Colombia this evening.
Here come the DRC again now down the left side. The ball into Wissa just a bit too high. Drops. Oh, and it's smashed over the bar. Great chance there for Bongonda, but leaning back and swiping at it. As soon as you hit it, you know it was going over.
Yeah, always travelling over. Disappointing there from Bongonda. As for Portugal, though, by the way, because they finished second, they then set themselves up a tie against Croatia, followed by either Spain or Austria. So we could have around a 16 tie between Portugal and Spain. And if anybody remembers the World Cup in Russia, the group stage game between those two, it was absolutely thrilling.
Oh, we're here they go again now. Great chance. Ball. Oh, the ball into Wissa. There's probably a better ball to have been played into Bongonda, but in any case, Wissa with a bit of a heavy touch, it gets away from him. And the ball is now back into Uzbekistan possession. Still 2 minutes to go in this game. And Uzbekistan pushing forward now down the right-hand side. Ball rolled back in towards Sergeyev. He just slows the play down. I do feel a little bit for Uzbekistan, as you mentioned. They really have tried in this game. They've tried in this World Cup, but as I say, very few teams, barring a couple of exceptions, very few teams get to their first World Cup competition and then take the competition by storm. It is a learning curve over a number of competitions.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think part of the reason they've struggled is to keep up with the pace of play. And we were speaking off air, weren't we, about teams who have got squads filled with players who play in top European leagues. We look at Japan in particular, who have got virtually an entire starting 11 made up of players who play in Europe's top 5 leagues. They don't struggle to keep up with the pace at all. In fact, they set the pace. The cross comes in from Uzbekistan, not well dealt with by Mbembe, and the strike comes in blocked well by Wan-Bissaka on the near side, who is actually really struggling.
Yeah, he really has got cramp now, and he's hobbling there. Nasrulayev had his shot blocked. He then wins the ball back off Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and we see that last opportunity there where Bongonda sends it over. I mean, he slammed it over the bar. You can see the DRC fans behind the goal. Absolutely very frustrated when they saw that. But I have to say as well, for all the worry about ticket prices and all the sort of geopolitical stuff and the visas and everything else, the fact is that it has been wonderful to see that every single nation at the World Cup has been represented by their own fans, whether they're fans that are North America based or that have travelled. It's great to see that they're there.
I was going to say, look, as frustrating as it's been to see about all the problems that have been caused by the US's politics, it's such a diverse country that you know there are a number of people from a lot of countries that are already in the United States and therefore can get to these games. And you're right, it has been absolutely fantastic. See, as there goes the full-time whistle, and what a moment this is! It's party time for the Democratic Republic of Congo, because for the first time in their history they have made it out of the group at a World Cup. They will celebrate hard into the night thanks to a 3-1 victory courtesy of goals from Wissa, 2 from Wissa and 1 from Fista Maele. They were put under pressure after an early goal from Eldor Shomorodov, but absolute delight in Atlanta because they're through to the round of 32. Mass celebration for the African side, and it finishes 3-1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also